This lesson is going to look at slope. Slope is the steepness of a line. Slope, again, is the steepness of a line. It describes how the line is slanted. So if we look at how to find the slope, we look at it as it is the change in rise over the change in run. If we have a grid, remember if you're graphing, your grid sort of looks like that, where this is the x-axis, the one that goes horizontal, and then the one that goes vertically is your y-axis. So the change in rise goes up and down. The y-axis is what goes up and down, so we can say that's the change in y, and then the x is what goes across. So when you run horizontally, so you run across, so that's the change in x. So we can say it's the change in y over the change in x. The other way you could sometimes see it represented is that it's the triangle, which is how you pronounce it, is delta. It's a Greek letter. So delta y over delta x, which still means the change in y over the change in x. There are 4 types of slope. The first type is positive. If you're looking at the example of the line underneath the positive picture, we read lines just like we read English on a paper from left to right. The line underneath the positive label goes up from left to right. Therefore, its slope is positive. The negative one goes down from left to right, so that slope is negative. Then there are 2 more special kinds of slope. If we have a horizontal line, we say that that has a 0 slope, because as a line, that line never rises, it never goes up or down, but it always runs, it always continues to the left or to the right. The other type of slope that we have is when we're looking at lines that are vertical, that go straight up and down. Those we consider to have no slope, because no slope would be the lines that rise, but they never ever run. Sometimes, instead of the word no slope, you may see the word written as undefined instead, which means exactly the same thing. So you might see undefined, and it would be the same thing as having no slope. One way to calculate slope is by looking at the following. So we have 2 points on the grid, the points 1, 0 and 3, 4, which are marked there as the green points on the yellow line. In order to do this, you can draw a right triangle to find the change in rise over the change in run. To draw a right triangle, you want to start at the point that's the highest. In our case, that's 3, 4. So I want to take my pencil and I want to draw a vertical line going straight down from that point until I get to a place where I can connect the other point that we haven't used yet horizontally to it. So I can connect it going horizontally, and now I have my right triangle drawn. So in order for me to figure out what my rise and my run is, I can now count the lines. So how many lines did the triangle go up? It went up 1, 2, 3, 4. So the line went up 4 spaces. How many did it go over? It went over 1, 2. So it went over 2 spaces. So my change in rise is 4, and my change in run is 2. 4 over 2 is our slope. The only thing that we can do now is simplify if possible. 4 over 2 we can simplify, which is equal to the whole number 2, which 2, remember, is technically, even though slope's a fraction, you can write 2 as a fraction by saying 2 over 1. And then you have to be careful when doing this method, because you have to look at the points that you're given and the line that you're given. You have to ask yourself, what kind of line do you have? Is your line going up? Is it going down? Is it horizontal or is it vertical? In our case, our line is going up, so because it's going up, that means our slope is positive. So our 2 would remain positive. So our slope is still 2.